What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the DBT podcast. I've got my co host, Roshan, with me. And
Hello.
today, for our session, we have another guest, Sushant Dahal. And I'm going to have him kind of give a quick intro because he does so many things that I think maybe, it'll be good for him to let us know kind of who he is.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Roshan, and thank you, Sujan, for having me in this podcast. I know it's been a long time since planning. We've been trying to do this for like many months, but busy schedule. But finally, I'm in town and we're making this happen. So, something about me, like you said, right? Like people know me for a lot of things, but primarily, I'm known as, I've been in the cybersecurity domain for more than a decade now. So, I'm known as, some level of expert or specialist in that area. But kind of going back, right? I mean, I moved to the U.S. when I was 12 years old. Did my high school here, and then I did not know I was going to be in cybersecurity, right? But I think what got me started was mostly like my, I guess, personality, curiosity. That I look for why for everything, and not just like take what is given. So since high school, I was already like very into tech, um, hacking into like a neighbor's network, sniffing traffic,
He
and
was stealing my Wi Fi,
Yeah.
man. He was the
sniffing
one.
traffic, or like just in general, right? Just breaking things
Yeah.
down and figuring out like how things work. I was also like jailbreaking iPhones, right? Back
Nice.
in the
Yeah.
day when you get an iPhone, you can like pimp it out
Yeah.
by just
Yeah.
jailbreaking. I was
Like
I
the
was doing all that.
4S and 5, you could do that.
Yeah,
I did that and I broke an iPhone doing that actually.
yeah, that can happen, right? So
Yeah.
I was doing all that. So there were some people actually willing to pay me to do that, to like
Really?
jailbreak. So, but that was like petty stuff, right? So going to college, going to A&M, I did not realize I was going to be doing the profession I am today. I did electrical engineering, but what got my basis is I was really deeply in mathematics, right? So I did electrical engineering, but minor in mathematics. Cryptography is really, really the core of like how things work in the world. And a fun fact is like, all the security foundation, everything you see, even like you going to WhatsApp or your browser, everything is relies on complexity of mathematics. Your
Mm.
key size, symmetric keys used, and the formula that makes it. The entire ecosystem security relies on a mathematic formula. So that's how
Mm.
it is, right? So it's core to it. So yeah, that's how I got into it, into the domain I'm right now.
Yeah. So a few things. Number one, when he says some cancellation, I think it's like 3 or 4 cancellations we've
Yes.
had just because of like scheduling conflicts. So he's very busy.
And we want to thank
Yeah.
him for
Yeah.
making the time today to be here with us. On the
As a
weekend.
side hobby, I do like to travel when I can,
Oh,
and
this guy is
like I like
traveling
to
a lot.
Yeah.
take
We'll include his like. Do you
Yeah.
post stuff on Instagram a
Yes.
lot? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna get your Instagram, and people can kind of travel vicariously through you.
Sure. Yeah. Any
I've
travel
asked
tricks?
him multiple times. I think one of the
Japan trip,
inspiration,
yeah.
Really?
inspiration. Yeah, before we went to Japan, I was
Yeah.
like, I see his stories, what he is doing, and I did some screenshots, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, give me itinerary. He didn't give me, but I stole it from his stories.
I don't have
Yeah.
itinerary. I book the day of sometimes. to
Yeah,
make it
dude, I like
happen,
traveling
I
like
like
that.
having the spontaneous way of doing things. So that's where I like to spend time with family and traveling when I'm like doing like
Work
the
or something else.
the busy work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place you've traveled?
I think Japan. I really, really, really like it. Australia, I really like it. I know it's a
Really?
mainstream place, but I really enjoyed. In honeymoon, we went to French Polynesia, which was
Oh, very cool.
really good because it was so away from the whole world and it was just secluded. So I think there's every place has its own beauty.
Did
So
they
I
make you
don't think I can
climb
give
like
no
a
one.
coconut tree and all that?
No, no,
Because you could get like the local experience, right? They have
Yeah.
that. That's like a real thing, you know.
Surprisingly, it's a most they say it's the most exclusive luxurious spot, but it's very poverty. Just like
Oh.
you would think of any country that you go, like Bali, right? There's the rich and everyone, like I don't know, people are just going and I went in COVID time, so I got lucky that Australia was banned from like traveling, so I
Mm.
got like great deal to go there. But it's known as the most luxurious spot, and it's for a reason. It's just so secluded. People just want to go there for like peace of mind. But I think any place in the world has its own beauty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, super cool. So obviously, you do a lot of things, and we want to cover a lot of your interests today. But the biggest one being cybersecurity, right? So maybe you could walk us through. I mean, cybersecurity is like maybe it's such a big concept,
It's
right?
mhm,
So walk us through like what's your area of expertise? Like, what do you
mhm,
focus on? Tell us about things that we don't know about in
mhm.
cybersecurity.
Yeah, so high level, like where I see things are right now, cybersecurity, there's the actual like practitioner, nerdy practitioner that they know there's stuff, right? They doing hacky stuff. Like there's that. And there's now I'm seeing a lot of it's getting like it's becoming like a big business, right? So there's a lot of business side of cybersecurity people. They're
Hmm.
you go to all these conferences, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a cybersecurity executive, or this is this, right? Like suited, booted. But the other contrast is that you have this red hat, like, or sorry, black hat hackers. You go to like, meet these people. They're the actual one that are notorious for like, like having like pure curiosity to
Hmm.
break things and being the actual threat, right? So those are like I'm just kind of clarifying like where this industry from people is. But cybersecurity in general, it's it turned like when you think about like cybersecurity back in the day in office these days, a desk with like what do you call it, a drawer and lock. That was the security, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
security. But now you realize everything is digital. Your identity, right? Like PHI, everything, right? It's somewhere sitting in digital secure area, right? So and then there's layers of defense that needs to happen from application layer, from like your network layer, right? And the complexity is so much that cybersecurity divided into like now application security, network security, your offensive security. These are the people that are like ethical hackers,
Mm,
company hires to like really try to penetrate into their application. Then you have like someone like me who is involved in product security, right?
mm,
Where my goal is to like, so I lead a team of architects here in Israel. We are pretty much like an expert within our company. So I'm working in a cybersecurity company to secure the product.
mhm,
And we work with our engineering teams and leadership to ensure that blueprint of building that product is secure from all the different adversarial threats, right? So it's a huge responsibility, and the stake is higher because our product gets used in from like normal retail store to like nuclear submarines, right?
Oh wow.
So any sort of like insecure way of building this product and any adversary getting into it has national security level impact. So the stakes are higher. Collectively, I'm in charge of securing about like $4 billion worth of products
Oh
wow.
that our
wow.
company has out there, right? So it's really important that we collaborate. So all the different field I told you, like we work in like a team as synchronization because we all complement each other. And now that you have AI coming
Yeah.
in, or it's been there for a while,
Yeah.
it's just magnifying the problem even more because it's just the nature of like now you were already doing a lot of things insecurely. Companies were already struggling with shadow IT, and even before pre-AI, things were already insecure. And now you put AI into the mix, it just amplifies at a certain level. So AI security is a huge issue and a
Mm,
huge opportunity. And for business side, it's a huge market.
yeah. So
So.
what about, I mean, talking about AI nowadays, everybody is using AI for everything, right?
Mhm,
Whether, it's maybe the mainstream LLMs like maybe like Grok or ChatGPT or
mhm,
Gemini, right? Copilot. What I find is people are so comfortable putting everything there
mhm,
that oftentimes, they don't have that sense of, hey man, should I really be putting all of that there?
mhm,
Um, like how big is that risk? Like, if I'm using like ChatGPT and I start putting, personal information
mhm.
there,
You did put your bank statement
I
and did
mean,
your thing,
I didn't
right?
want to say it was me.
I
When I said people, I was asking for a friend, but really it was me.
I had to audit my CPA, and I had to put some information there
Really.
too. But I think we have graduated from that phase where like the fear of it's no different than you putting information in any other application, right? At this point, organizations like us
But
and
is it 'cause, like, don't those applications have at least some level of obligation, or they give you some type of security to say, hey man, like, we are keeping your information private, right? But like I don't think that's the same case if I put stuff in like
No,
ChatGPT.
I think yeah, for personal level, that's that you agree to using it. It's like any product, you
Uh-huh.
agree the terms,
Yeah.
right? You
Right.
agree that it can be with anyone. Enterprise level, what how we hedge that and we get our legal team involved is there's something called like zero data retention, right? So Frontier Labs, like Anthropic, everyone, we have this contract that one of the key concern is that the data goes there and they use for training, right? I think that's what the concern is too. Like your
Yes.
data gets used by training. I think for personal level that can happen, but but they're already doing that from like crawling the data across the board anyway, right?
Yeah.
So but we have one question, right? Do you think your data is truly private anymore? Do you think even before you use that tool?
Well, I mean, I don't think so, but I at least like knowing that I'm using a platform that says, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna sell your data or use your data," or at least, maybe like I mean, everybody's selling data, right? Like the play is data. Like when you look at these large companies, but I mean, I don't want anyone. At least like if I put my date of birth on some platform that I'm signing up, at least they give me some type of confidence to say, "Hey, man, like your PII, we're not selling."
But do they though? Like,
Yeah.
that's not the
Well,
case.
I mean,
So
at least
for
they
me,
tell
I
me,
think, I think the risk is pretty much like what goes into there. There's a lot more emerging risk than like you putting some sensitive data and then the sensitive data being like going out there,
Yeah.
the adversaries, right?
Yeah.
Sure, if you use like Chinese models or all that, be really careful, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want the adversaries out there. I'm not saying like even our you use Chat GPT or Claude, they're not gonna like have that. And it's very crazy, right? They use this long term memory now. It remembers things.
Yeah.
Other day I was like, I think it knew like I was brown and I
Yeah.
knew like I was South Asian. And I asked him, I was like, how did you know? And I took a picture of like something, it knew my color, my
oh
skin.
wow.
So it knew like who
like
I was,
reading
right?
images, yeah.
So you already categorized, right? So I think I would say like enterprise level, that concern is like based on a paper legal contract. Personally, sure, like I think any tool, not just AI tool, any tool that you talk to, like if you are so sensitive about that data,
Yeah.
just be careful not putting out there.
Yeah.
It could be it's financial
Yeah.
tool because they get popped all the time,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's where I would say is relieve that risk. I think there's deeper risk with how you connect your AI, now we call agent, to your financial products or like your home, like I don't know, automation, everything. I think there's greater risk with like AI being used where it has now arms and legs and it can like do things on your behalf, right?
Like
Claude,
agentic AI.
Claude bot or like Hermes, like all this agent are kind of come up where people just put this stuff there and then it can act on behalf of you. I think that's where it's the most risk. This can be relieved by just being a little precautious and ensuring like you understand what
Yeah.
their contract of using
Yeah.
is.
So you think like, for like a normal user, that's using AI, kind of for everything, like would it be a concern, for them on what they should disclose to AI or what, be careful there?
I think one of the yeah one something you want to be concerned is like how you connect your like I said again, right? Like you have Claude or like you're just tooling. Now you can connect to your Google Drive, calendar, you can connect to all these different
Yeah.
integrations, right? Tools. That's where things can go south. And I've seen some situations where even in our company, right? Like someone connected like to email provider and then it blasts out emails to like a
Wow.
bunch of things, right? So this autonomous, semi-autonomous, autonomous conscience that AI brings is more scarier than I would say like just like plainly like you putting your data and leaking out. But there's also caveat, right? Like put your personal data and then you have this insecure tool. Now you have concern of that data being exfiltrated using that tool outside, you know?
Yeah.
So I think ooh, just I think that's where the issue is like this tools, this arms and legs AI has now is more scarier combined with your personal data. But if you're just using nothing, just like asking questions and doing things, it's I would say like from risk management perspective, right? Like the risk can be acceptable.
I think in terms of that as well, I mean, the question that you asked earlier about like, hey, do you think your data is really secure? Me and my wife, we were having a conversation, and every time like you download something and you say,
Mhm.
ask app not to track, right?
Mm.
You hit that, that doesn't mean that you're secure, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
multiple
Consent.
ways
Yeah.
that they are using to crawl the data and all that stuff. Even in recent days on real estate as well, like we have had situations where organization like Unlock MLS has let us put our photos, and they will do the description
Hmm.
itself. Like the AI will do it itself, and there have been multiple times where they have described something that's not actually true, right?
Hmm.
And also with the pictures where they are doing this staging, right?
Hmm.
And like there has been multiple legal things going on with these as well, right? And I mean, I think we talked about the risk of it. Like, how do you see the cybersecurity aspect of it being changed with AI, the beneficial part of it? Like, what have changed? What are the benefits that you guys are seeing?
So the biggest benefit is it is force multiplier, right? So you have to use this tool in a way that helps you do like 5 or 10x your capability, where these were like very mundane tasks, right? Where, a lot of people I see there these days using for building flyers, materials, or like uh, doing some automation task.
Hmm.
It's not for all like non-technical folks, but they're still like trying, a lot of low code, no code platforms are out there. You can use it to automate certain tasks. Like Cloud Cowork is really good. Like you can just automate it, get things done while you're sleeping. It's already analyzing things for you. So if you're a real estate expert, right, you can use that to like really do some really good research overnight, and in the morning you already have in your email, right? So I've seen like there's a lot of great benefits on that. You can capitalize, and just like I said, like just being a force multiplier. A lot of companies that I know in the news, like they're laying off all these things. So how I see that is like you need to adapt to the change, right? So you have to be. There's two examples I want to give, like from my learning too.
Hmm.
There's one book called "Who Moved My Cheese," right? I read. It was written by Spencer something. It's like a very satire kind of book, right? But there's like this mouse that in a maze, they were used to having a cheese in the
Mm.
same place, go eat, come back, right? One day that the cheese would move, they could not survive, or they were panicking, they don't know, right? So I think don't be that, right? We learn how to adapt, learn how the cheese is made, maybe, and then learn how to like go with it. And I think that's where you become more valuable to the company, because even at enterprise level or even normal other jobs, right? Even when you walked in the past, right? Like this job doesn't make sense, right? Someone just pushing an email or other things, right? I think some of those jobs are gonna drastically change. That's where AI is gonna automate or do things more better. But other are here to stay as long as you adapt. And not saying you have to know how a model works deep end, but harness it to the full capacity so that these days I see like a very interesting story. I did like a home renovation recently, and the lady I talked to, like, hey, I told her I want to do this wall differently, right? She just designed it with me like ChatGPT, right? Really
Mm.
good design, all this.
Yeah.
So it really saved me time. It gave me like, wow, okay. She
So
knows
you were like able to
she's using
immediately like
tool.
see what you
Yes.
were
She's
talking
using
about.
tool, and it's like, oh, this is an example. Which one do you like? Chose this. You got my business, right? Otherwise, this was gonna drag on for so long. So it's like smart way of just using AI in a way that you earn business. Very basic example,
Yeah.
but
No, man.
she did
I
it.
I tried doing
So
that. I tried something similar. I was like, hey, man, I want to
mhm,
change the way my bedroom looks.
mhm,
And I mean, maybe this was a long time ago, but like it made my bedroom pink, and it put like furnitures in there that wasn't
yeah.
supposed to do. So I don't know,
So
man. It didn't
Yeah.
work for me.
there's that, and there's a big example of like back in the day, like agriculture revolution
Hmm.
when that happened, right? When your tractor, or like motorized way of
Mm.
doing agriculture came in, right? A lot of people had fear about, oh, like this is gonna take our job, or this is not gonna be good. But the outcome was that those people who was reluctant to just using cattle farming were left behind, right? But the other
Mm.
ones, they were doing 10x, doing like
Sure.
tractor or like the normal like motorized techniques to do farming, and that's what happened, right? Those people switched to that and they did 10x. Everyone still stayed in the world, right? Everyone still had a job, but it made them more effective. So I would say like use this capability. We're early stage ish, that you want to be, just understanding what tools are out there, and then use that to your advantage in a safe way, right?
Yeah.
Don't try to, like I said, don't try to give it more information or connection that you need if you don't understand. Do it in a way like email automation. All these things
Mm.
are really good.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
recently with Robinhood too, now you can use AI to do the tradings and all that stuff.
that I
That has come through,
still
right?
don't feel
Yeah. So
that one I don't feel
yeah.
comfortable.
So
Yeah.
I was
So
just gonna try to get a point
yeah.
from you on that as well, like how the investment or the whole cybersecurity
Hmm.
part of that as well. I think it ties with bitcoins and all this stuff as well. Where
Hmm.
like with new AI coming in, will these things be secured, right? And I think that goes directly to what your expertise on. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on that?
I think security is one aspect. The other aspect is from a functional standpoint, we still haven't solved the hallucination problem, right? So my concern is that I start giving my agents access to my money, my wallet, other
Mm,
things. It's gonna start doing, like again, impersonation is a big challenge from security standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think we're in a stage where we can fully trust this agentic system to like impersonate me, especially in a very sensitive area, finance or like maybe a health side. Doing a analyzing my health data, it's fine. Well, I think about if you have like some I don't know health medical device, then you depending on some AI agent to like I don't know like act on behalf of you, zap you or
mm,
something, right?
mm,
I think healthcare and finance side is it's kind of tricky. I know in automobiles, right? I think we were just talking earlier.
yeah,
Even like Tesla, it's great, but it regresses and like it can cause your life death situation, right? So
right.
so there's that. But for financial side, I think the risk can be like autonomous execution, right? Where someone can indirectly poison this agent to like maybe transfer your money from
Mm,
one wallet to another wallet, right? What defense you have after that, right? Because you it impersonated you, now it was
yeah.
you,
I mean, you
and
gave it
then you give access
authorization.
to
Yes.
Yeah,
do things. So I think I still think there's some little bit ways to go with like more improvement, guardrails that we can include, so that we feel more trustable. But other things, I feel like it's making
yeah.
very fast progress. So.
So how much? One of the things that to your earlier example, you gave the agriculture example, right? Where you said there were farmers that adapted to the automations, the mechanical automations that came, and there were farmers that didn't. Um, I think a lot of that might also have to do with the financial capability to adapt as well, right? And we're seeing that with AI now, where a lot of that adoption and adaptation comes from your financial capability to do
Mhm.
that too. Tokenization's a big thing now, where
Yep.
a lot of company that went through the AI automation route now are realizing how expensive it is to
Yes.
do that. Now that's on maybe maybe a company level or enterprise level. But when you look at regular humans and like us, right? Like let's say on our day to day, how much risk do you see with as AI becomes more
Mhm.
expensive, it's also going to become out of accessibility for regular people. So then
Mhm.
the question is not about adoption and adaptation. The question is about, do you like financially, are you capable of even adapting?
Mhm.
Isn't that also a big risk?
So I think we're going back to like square one on this with how this whole AI capability was used, right? For example, I started back in the day working at Dell, right? I'll give an example. We started with working with something called predictive analytics, which was essentially like given certain symptom of like firmware failure, like was supposed to like tell like what needs to be replaced if it's hardware related in the out
Mm,
there in the manufacturing, right? Or replacement. That back then I realized that this capabilities are only reserved for like large company who can afford,
yeah.
right? Now, if you go back to now, I think a lot of companies they'll be afford to spend, but if the token cost is always higher, then it's going to be the big companies again. As small is going to be left out, right? But I also think that it's already happening in like the VC world. Investment is like now your new market has opened. Now there are companies that are building techniques and ways to optimize token
Mm,
and use token wisely, right? As hyperscalers are ramping up their data center and capability, again, it's supply and demand, right? I foresee that costs will kind of subside, go down. But the biggest challenge is not just that; it's the waste. There was who was Uber had released actually. Uber, yeah, it's like most of their token goes into like debugging useless stuff, right? 70% or something like that.
okay.
Only 30% actually gets used in productive stuff, right? So if you start shrinking that or making it more optimized with all this new capabilities and token cost being a little bit more affordable, and you choose the right model is also very important. Use Opus 4.8 versus like Haiku, right? For example, or Gemini Flash, cost is different, right? So I think companies are starting to adjust like how best to use token and do it. I think for personal level, right? It's not too bad. I mean, unless you're doing some crazy stuff, $20 plan is sufficient. And what are you trying to do? But these days, right? What we just talked earlier, right? A burrito costs $14, right? So you can spend that $6 extra if it makes you
Yeah.
learn and be more productive. I
Yeah.
think it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of accessibility, I know we had a quick conversation as well a while back about like how you get you have some access to these new things that are coming up, the beta that you are using. Tell us more about that as well. Like, how are things coming up on the AI world part
The
of it as
frontier
well?
model.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll just be very high level just because, the stuff I'm in.
Yep.
So in February, I got this meeting and it was pretty interesting, right? It's our Frontier Lab partner, and then they're like pulled us in as a cybersecurity company, and we're like, hey, you guys gotta check this out, man. This is something very interesting. You guys will like it, and they didn't. It was a code name, like, and still we call it that code name, but it was a month and a half before they even announced it out there that hey, this is a model. And when that model name was released, it created chaos. Every cybersecurity stock went down
Wow.
Oh
because
wow.
the fear was that wow, this is out there, it's gonna wreak havoc in
Yeah.
the industry, right? But we had access to that, like
Yeah.
I had access to it too, like a month and a half, 2 months
Is that
ago.
when like Code came out and that
No,
entire like
this
tech
is
market just took a dump?
that it happens
Because it
time,
was like
yeah.
similar story, right? Like
Cloud
we
Code,
talked.
Cloud Security came out. That
Yeah.
happened, but this is the frontier new
I got you.
model.
Okay.
Mythos, right? It's a
Okay.
name, not a code name, the actual name.
Uh huh.
And still, people don't have access to this, right? This
Wow.
kept in a very secluded way using it. But so the way this differentiate is I'm talking high level is that it can tie in like small like in security world, right? Like you find things in traditional way, you find the most critical high issue, and those becomes like the most for engineering teams to like tackle. Other things often gets like buried underneath and like they might or might not look into it. How this model does really well is like it took us like a day or two, like we built a really nice harness with our ethical hacking team too, and we started testing things out, and it was very mind blowing in a way that it was very context driven. It was very tactical, right? It's almost like and it doesn't get tired, right? It was going on for a long time, and small things,
Hmm.
uh, putting together and then launching an attack and
Wow.
exposing things that we that was mind blowing in a way that we did not think it that way, right? So it was
Wow.
going in all different direction, and it wouldn't stop, right? It was going like accessing things and validating things like at a scale. So that is why it's out there
Yeah.
behind like its own kennel. But
So do you think like AI is gonna take over the world and attack us or what, man?
I think the capability of
Like,
being
is the technology
persistent.
out there? Like, if it wanted to, is AI like advanced enough to where it can start going and hacking into like anything pretty much?
So I think the AI and the technology is the worst it can be right now.
Okay.
That means it's only going to get better, right? KB that tells you it's the
Mm.
worst it has been today,
Yeah.
right? It's
Okay.
only going to
Yeah.
get better. So that means that it's really important for the cybersecurity defender and industry people, like I said, be upskill, be the par, because this tool can go into a hacker out there has its own time it has left. Someone in Eastern Europe, North Korea, they're gonna like spend months, years, right? As a security professional, you don't have that time, right?
Yeah.
To like do that. So I think that's where so AI by itself, it might not, but getting to the wrong people's hand and
Mm.
using this type of capability where they're able to like just go crazy on things, is
Yeah.
it's problematic.
You know what I like worry about? Like this, and I'll let you ask your question, but you hear about these scams all the time, right? Like, and basic, like what we consider to be basic scams. Like you got these like social security scams.
Yeah.
People get calls and they're like, "Hey, man." Uh,
It's getting more real with deep
yeah, like
fake.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm with the police and I'm gonna, send the police to your house if you don't pay me this like outstanding balance or there's a ticket. Like predominantly targeted towards older folks,
Older,
and
vulnerable
yeah,
people.
and
Yeah.
it's so big that every year there's notice that the Social Security Administration sends out,
IRS,
or the
everyone.
IRS. Yeah, you're right, saying like, "Hey, man, we'll never call you. This is a scam," right? And we're all young people and we always think like, how could somebody fall for this?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what my worry is? Like when we become their age,
Yeah.
with AI, it's going to get so advanced that we don't know who we're talking to. We don't know what's real and what's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you even trust it? Like, how do I know that like I'm talking to you now and you are who you say you are, right?
Yeah.
Like that's so scary to me.
Yeah, I think there's already cases where it's happening where your voice gets like, I think I was like one of the podcasts actually I was listening to it. It was very interesting, right? Someone took like someone's voice, like someone you know, and then called the person and then asked that, oh, I'm like in deep trouble, like
Yeah.
I need money, like
Yeah.
it was like some Indian guy in like Canada actually, right?
Uh-huh.
He needs money, and he sent it because it
Yeah.
was so legit.
Yeah.
It even talked like you, and then so
Yeah.
it's already happening. What you're saying is maybe like personally in front of me, maybe
Yeah.
like it might be some ways to go, but
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like maybe like
yeah,
we're I think relatively techie guys. I mean you are obviously way more than
Yeah.
us, but I'm just thinking like what happens when we're 70 and 75 and we're not mentally able to keep up with how quickly technology changes. And some of these things, like they'll iterate, right? And we're gonna be victims of this one day. That's the scary part.
One
for
of the
me.
things
I'm
that
not worried about me being victim. Maybe my Optimus Prime will be the victim then.
Yeah, I guess, man. I mean, you're safe, but Roshan, you and I don't know.
We're-
You might
Optimus Prime is coming soon. so.
Roshan might be selling a house to somebody who doesn't exist, and he's like,
there
I
are
mean,
certain scams like that as well in
Yeah.
real estate where we have seen a lot of like if there is any house that has been vacant for a long time, people try to pull things up and all that stuff. Those are the things happen. But in terms of voice, I was listening to this podcast and I mean it's a more of conspiracy theory thing that they were talking about. Like if you now use your Apple keyboard, it's like not more functioning. Like there's a lot of mistakes happening and all that stuff. And they were saying like they're trying to do that because they want you to use more of the voice thing so that they can, get that on the record and have that stuff. And I was like, I had been feeling that like I'm typing it right, but these days, I mean, it might be a consciousness thing, like they said it and I realize it. But whenever I'm typing, I have felt that way, and I'm like, it might be that. Like, okay, now they're trying to get us to use more of our voice than rather having typing and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think these
I mean,
kind
Apple's known for that. They're known for.
I am kind of anti-voice. I'm still the kind of guy that likes to read physical book. Right?
okay.
I'm not adapted to, at least in that case. I cannot focus when it's like book is like audible or like you get an ebook or like even voice. Only time I use voice is probably like in a car where I need to like
Yes.
do that. I feel like I just find sharing or conveying what I'm trying to do, just typing is still, but that could change. But
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to go on these things, I know you're a big investment guy as well, right? With everything coming up, what do you see, or just walk us through, like, what are the opportunity that you are seeing in terms of investment? He's a big entrepreneur as well. He's a big dog.
Dude, how can I turn my $1,000 into $1 million with
Tomorrow.
I've got-
at this point,
I've got
market's
10
so
minutes.
unpredictable. You just put into the
My
right,
401k
right chip
just
stock,
lost.
man.
My
Right
401
chip stock at this point.
What is it?
Right chip stock.
Right chip,
Everyone
okay.
is doing that. But sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, I was just saying because my 401k lost like 30% of this value over the past month. So, man, at this point, I'm not retiring.
So one key thing here is there's no shortcut to it, right? Like if you're doing shortcut, you're either gonna end up in jail or like do something crazy, right? So you always have to stick to fundamentals and what we believe, right? So from investment standpoint, like I do advise a lot of VCs, VC firms for like 2 years now, and actually now also a accredited investor is part of like a syndicate, a venture syndicate. So we look at the future cybersecurity companies and almost like put some money in there and bet on it, and be a more stakeholder into that. So I'm going to that domain a lot more now. As an entrepreneur, right? I mean, I'm some product I've been trying to build coming soon. So
Yeah.
so I'm kind of
We'll launch
focusing
it on
that.
this podcast. Whoever's watching,
We'll come back for that.
There'll be a
right? But
launch
it's,
party because our 100 subscribers are the perfect place for you to launch products.
But it's trying to democratize like security to like more than just like enterprise is what I think it is. But from investment standpoint, right? With the uses of AI, right? What I'm seeing is that anyone can build things, right?
Mhm.
Like the bar before was like right here. Now it's here because anyone can build things. You can just go clock code. People just building anything out there, right? I really like what like one time Jensen Wong said, right? It's like coding is like driving. It's commodity, right?
Mm.
It's like it's driving too, right? All I need is point A to B. Coding is like you don't need to like learn the deep level knowledge. It's good if you have it. You become the shepherd to do things, but coding is turning into like if you ask anyone, a lot of people haven't coded in like year and a half, right? It's a commodity. That means like now playing field is higher. I go to all these conferences and I get to sit in all these pitches, right? I see that there's a lot of product that is being built with very ambiguity like claim, right?
Mm.
And I'll go. I like the topic probability too. As I'll go in that later. But they're just claiming that certain it will do certain things in a vague way, and then trying to get attraction, and then so that's happening a lot. So pretty much there's a lot of product there like within a lot of noise. There's a lot of product there like selling. This term called selling a snake oil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Snake oil.
Snake oil, right?
Yep.
So I think late 1800s, there was what was it? This company called Clark Stanley, right? Just like when Chinese guerrilla worker migrated to U.S., they apparently use like water snake oil for like joint pain and everything. So this company started like claiming that okay, we have a snake oil, rattlesnake oil that just solves your joint problem, like magic pill problem, right? And you see these days a lot. You have a lot of these like cosmetic companies, everything popping up, right, doing things too. But I just find this term very. I researched it on it too, like this snake oil term, because the company turned out to be like 1916. It got busted because it was mineral and some beef oil, right? So
Okay.
so they're claiming that vaguely, like it significantly reduces your joint pain.
Yeah.
The key is there significantly, right? When
Yeah.
you look at like probabilistic term, like when you do this forecasting, significantly is a very vague term. I'm seeing the same thing in cybersecurity domain is like people are saying we significantly reduce your vulnerabilities or we have greater success doing this, right? So as an investor and everything, right, we look into things very deeply and try to that's where like guys like me come helping VC too. Like we as a domain experts, like me, or real estate anywhere, right? We have responsibility to like make sure we really vet things and we use expertise to like help validate things out instead of buying some snake oil again, right? That's not gonna help you any
Yep.
problems. So that's where we're at because a lot of VCs, a lot of companies have lost a lot of money because there's this term like it could just be a vibe coding Claude. In
Mm.
fact, some of the VCs like I've talked to is actually how their strategy now is like if they get a pitch and it's something they can build in a weekend or a week,
Yeah.
they don't want to put money
Wow.
Wow.
because like I said, the playing field is high. You need to really solve a problem. And I guess one key thing is also like they always call it a niche, right? What is niche, right? If you find a really good niche now, you're a unicorn. But the real niche now is speed to the market, right? It's
Mm.
actually like you have a great product, but you also are a good sales team. Not gonna sell, not don't sell snake oil, but be really good at understanding the problem that is in hand. So earlier you said problem about like using AI securely for certain things, right? Uh, they need to understand deeply how to solve it instead of like throwing something out there and then an abstraction layer and a nice dashboard. I think the industry is kind of being plagued by that because, like I said earlier, when I came in, cybersecurity turned into business rather than like a domain-led product that actually solves a problem.
Wow. So talking about investments, as somebody who's well versed in AI, how much of it do you use for like your own investment strategies? I know you're consulting with VCs and you're also getting involved in some of those investments, but um, given that you have a lot of this knowledge in AI, do you still find yourself investing in like the traditional methods of maybe in the stock market or in real estate, or do you find yourself now given like how much AI has impacted valuations of company, where like now everything like even pre-revenue can it's all about the perception of value, right? And I'm sure you
Yeah.
see that a lot. How much of it do you think is like, hey man, I want to stay in the traditional models versus no, this is where the field is going, this is where I want to be involved?
So in investment side, I don't steer away from something I don't know. Like if it's a stock, right? I don't. I know like in in chip side or AI side or cybersecurity side, I'm well versed on it. I'm not gonna go like put my money in pharmaceuticals because I'm not I can't understand like their trajectory they're going, right. I think I still stick to fundamentals. A lot of these companies that claim like it blew up, it didn't blow up over. It did blow up overnight, but it was years of like
Mm.
Work.
compounding work. Like Dell, for example, right? They didn't just blow up overnight.
Right.
They had years of like working and building solution that scales, and then partnership happens. And now I think it just became like obvious that okay, these are the partners, channel partners for like chipped, um, that chip stocks that are memory, right? Memory like SanDisk and all this. These are
Yeah.
not a new stock.
Yeah.
Memory is how AI works, right? Like even when you work with like your chatbot, it needs that large amount of memory to
Yeah.
like process and keep the context and cannot just like put it out there in like persistent memory, right? So it's a compounding at a time, and then now there was a supply demand issue, so that caused the stop. So I still look into that. I still like look into real estate and try to understand like how to diversify and then get the best return out. But sticking to a long game, right? Like I said earlier, right? Trying to get an easy money, either you're gonna go jail or you're gonna go homeless, right? That was the other word, homeless, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's
Yeah.
people. It's happened to people, right? So, sticking to fundamentals,
Yeah.
understanding the industry,
Yeah.
and sometimes just betting for the future, right? That they're
Yeah.
gonna like, this is what's gonna get to.
Yeah.
End of the day, stock market is a risk. So,
Yeah.
you gotta own the risk.
Well,
Are you planning to do the SpaceX IPO? That
I
was
mean-
my
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I will do it. I'm not gonna put everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
into
Are you gonna
it.
wait till it like stabilizes, or is there a plan to go in on?
No,
the
I've
IPO?
already made requests.
Okay.
For some of it, but I'm there for long term, right? So if it dips
Yeah.
in like 2 weeks, a few months, I'm
Are
not
you a
panicking.
believer in their their valuation and kind of what they're targeting?
I think that they have already proven things,
Yeah.
right? And with Elon Musk, honestly, right, the way his track record is, like he's a doer, right? He
Mm.
has the capability to do things beyond our imagination, right?
Mm.
When everyone didn't believe about Tesla, right, being so widespread, he made it happen, right? Starlink, right? So
Right.
amazing. Like
Right.
I refuse to find a plane that doesn't have Starlink anymore
Yeah.
because it's
I can't find many planes that have it, man.
really Delta has it. If you go international, like United
Yeah,
has
maybe
it.
I'm not
Qatar
flying
Airways.
Delta.
American Airlines does not have it.
Qatar only has it on select flights.
Yeah, I mean,
So they had it on a flight they have it on the
Yeah.
route from here to Doha. On the way back, they didn't have it.
I had it both ways.
Really?
Yep. I was
I
lucky.
think it depends on what plane you are, but
Yeah.
Delta is really good at it. Actually, I flew to Australia last year, 17 and a half hour flight.
Yeah.
I had Starlink.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine doing what is that ViaSat or like
Yeah, yeah. I
Boingo
mean, it's
or
horrible.
something.
It's because it disconnects you like every 30 minutes, and you got to keep
It's
logging
bad.
in. Dude, I tried Starlink. I think it was on Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
I got 400 download and upload on Starlink, like at 40,000 feet in the like middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I was so amazed.
Yep.
I was like full fledged working and uploading.
So you're the living proof, right? That
Yeah.
someone who is betting on this company has track record of delivering something
Yeah.
like this, right? So
Yeah.
so I think I'm going with that. It could be wrong, but obviously, again, like I
But
said,
long term, you
long-term,
think there's.
Yeah.
I mean,
You have
they've definitely
to-
innovated and they've captured, I think, a lot of unique market for sure.
and then the XAI, all this thing, they have
Yeah.
in capability, right?
I think he's really good at pivoting. I think like
Yeah.
Elon, he's the thing with him is like he'll start out with an idea, but you never know like if that's the
Yeah.
long term goal or like, he's really good at selling ideas. I think he's such a.
Well, it delivers too, right? Like selling again, like it's just like a lot of people sell.
I mean, I don't
stuff,
know about
it doesn't look
delivers.
too-
I mean, we only look at the success, but
Yeah.
Cybertruck, Model S, Model X, and Roadster. And there are many things
Yeah.
that he hasn't
I
delivered.
think what I
also.
really like about him and like the thing that company does is simplification, right?
Yeah.
So I think his analogy is all about like do things and try to figure out how to do it,
Better.
halfway, like
Yeah.
halfway faster or something, right? I think over time that brings the right amount of innovation, and it's important to not take a shortcut, right?
Yeah.
So if you take a lot of shortcut, a lot of bad things can happen, right?
Yeah.
Like Challenger explosion.
Yeah,
or
I
something
mean,
like
he's
that.
always gone into like I think one thing I also like about him is like he's creating his own segments also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another like area I think where he's really good. You know, reusable rockets, right? I mean, who even thought of that? You know, when we just had NASA. Now
Yeah.
we've got this competition in space race going on. So I think. You know, and now we've got with Starlink also. You know, like your typical fiber optic used to be like the go-to, but now you've got satellite-based internet that you can access anywhere globally. I think a lot of those
It's
are really
great.
good.
Yeah, there's Boring company that he has created.
Yeah.
It's actually based on Bastrop
Yep.
now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did they move here? Okay.
Yes, they have done a lot of things in Bastrop.
You
They're-
haven't tried the Hyperloop in Vegas? It's
No,
super
never,
nice. The
man.
new
I've
convention
never-
center.
no.
Go down, and then the Tesla will take you the other side.
No, I mean I've seen
completely
videos of it, but never.
Super nice.
But I don't know if that was the Vegas one or if that was.
There's
the
one in LA, I thought, but I tried the one in Vegas.
Yeah, I
they're,
think.
they're working on getting one here as well.
Oh, are they?
I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I think the one I saw was in LA.
But I think
haven't seen the Vegas one.
my opinion is that doing all that is great, but why not just have a good train system? You know, like Europe or Japan. You know, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that solves so much better problem
Well,
than
now we're getting to capitalism and
I don't get it.
lobbying.
I
And,
think
you know.
a train system could be so much better than like boring company or anything.
Yeah.
Where
So could our
that's
healthcare.
one part I don't believe in.
So,
what
so
he's
could our
building.
healthcare. So could our
Yeah.
education system. I mean, all of this is just I think a matter of lobbying, right? Like, so could our, you know, food
Our
that we eat. Like,
manufacturers.
why is the food in America so crap compared to the rest of the world, right? I think we talked about it where we said like there are a lot of regulations in
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah.
You know, that's why.
It's good and bad, right?
yeah.
Like, if you see Europe, there's not much. If you look at the billionaire list, there's only like what LVMH guy or like a few other people. Capitalist is here, right? You look at top 10, like everyone is from the US, right? Because it's a breeding ground for that, right? Europe, it's I feel like raw regulation kind of stalls that a little bit, right? And the working culture there is a different.
but people have better
But
life.
better life for better goods, it's
Yeah.
there, but better innovation starts from here. Right?
True, true.
So same thing. Australia was
Yeah.
very relaxed.
Yeah.
A lot of regulations, but people are happy, right? So it's always like I don't think it's you have to like
Yeah, I think
the
it's like
balance
the
Either or.
continue. Yeah, I think it's like the continuation of like
trade-off.
the American
Yeah.
dream. You know, the whole
Yeah.
idea is you come, you build something in America because you get an opportunity to build without everybody trying to like take from you. So maybe that's what it is. But you know, kind of finishing up on this investments and entrepreneurship thing. I think what has also happened is you know if you look at our parents per se, their investment strategy was, hey man, I want to buy land, I want to buy a house, gold, and I want to keep cash in
Touch
the bank.
feel.
Yeah, you know, it's they wanted something physical, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, how much of it do you see that in your field now with you know, with you getting involved in VCs and like how much of that has like have people gone away from those traditional ways
so
versus
VCs are always known for being opposite, right?
Yeah.
Except like I guess it could be trivial, but so you talked like Nepali parents and everyone, right? I was watching that. There's some investment show. What was it?
Yeah,
Nepali
Shark
thing?
Tank Nepal.
Shark Tank Nepal, and it was
Yeah.
not like kind of bashing it, or maybe it bashing it, right? But they were so risk averse. Like great ideas, but these guys did not. They are so comfortable just spending on a more predictable return that they're not betting on things. VC, like you know what one philosophy in VC world is, and even like angel investing is, you write a $50,000 check, forget about it. Think about it, you're not gonna get it back, right?
Yeah.
Because you're betting, right? And I think only 2% of your if you have a startup portfolio,
yeah.
make up for entire money, right?
Yeah, like you're looking for that one or two winners.
That's
right?
why SpaceX. That's what Amazon is. That's what all these companies are. Uber's, Airbnb was a erratic idea, right? Because someone bet on a risk and they had a return, right? So that's what makes America America, and we innovate so much. Israelis like that too, right? They bet on
So you're telling
risk.
me I should sell my house and put it on SpaceX.
If you have the risk appetite, go for it. If you believe in it, go for it.
Roshan, I need to put my house for
But
sale, man.
It's also about investment strategy in a way that maybe you do SpaceX and do into more other things that are
Diversify it?
And like I said, 2%.
No, man.
I'm like, yeah, you can sell your house.
no, all or nothing. I'm all or nothing.
So getting back to it, right? And the Nepali mentality is still that you want to have a predictable, like 5%, 10% return on like some CD back home or land.
yeah. I mean, the bank gives, I think, like 8 or 9%.
Yeah, like land is great investment in Nepal. I appreciate so much, but can you sell it? Right? It locks
Yeah,
you that money.
yeah.
Same thing real estate here, right? So you just wanna like know what is your goal? I think everyone wanna tell like what is your goal, right? You wanna make quick money. Like I said earlier, what happens? long term, then you put it strategically into like my investment strategy is like mortgage backed security, right?
Mm,
Like tranche. I have certain like profile of like category of like brokerage, something I can take a risk on. Like for example, like certain brokerage, it's like my play money, right?
I
I
got
don't
you.
feel bad like if it goes
Got
bad.
it.
But other ones I'm more strict on certain returns I want it every year. And then you have to also do tax planning, right? You don't want to like, like get all this
Because the
because
IRS doesn't
even if
leave
you
you
put in a
alone.
high yield saving account, I feel like if you're in this tax bracket, you have to pay like that tax, even in your interest income, right?
Right.
Yes.
The money, two things, right? You write that check to IRS, it's gone forever.
Right.
It's gonna go somewhere, but you're not gonna get anything back, right?
Yeah.
So it's always tax strategy is super important, and I guess what is your risk appetite? Because I'm a security guy, I always look at like what is my appetite and how much I can like digest certain risk in my portfolio, and then act accordingly.
So with this, I think let's shift the focus on like your. I think we've talked about your professional cybersecurity AI and investment part of it as well. You are very heavily invested on the upcoming youth and also about bringing or uplifting the Nepali
Mm-hmm.
professionals. Right, you have done things like for the community and all that stuff. I know ANP is one of the one that you and several others have been running it. We do a lot of events and all that. So tell us more about Austin Nepali professionals. What do you?
Yeah, I think it goes back to one thing that was very relevant to me, and I've found that is relevant to a lot. What has helped me in my professional growth was I met one person at the right time at the right place, and that changed me. Like, he gave me the one opportunity that really put me into like forefront of, I guess, I don't think consider I'm successful, but I think it helped me pivot to the right place. So I think a lot of people in our Nepali community are very like siloed into things, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of like different activities group. Not everyone wants to go play soccer. Not everyone wants to go play like run or something, right? I think they're in a certain professional world or a certain thing. They just want to come out and meet people that are also like minded. And like I said, I think um, putting that almost like building that social network Nepali. I think compared to like other people, other country people, right? I see like Nepali are more divided. I think
Mm.
always the habit of like, oh, you do good. I don't put down our names. And it's the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that we got to
It's like I
overcome
want to
that.
do better than you.
Mhm.
I don't, or rather, it's like I don't want you to succeed, right? It's not like you succeed and I want to do better.
Yeah, like
It's I want you to do
feel.
worse, so I end
I
up
think it's
doing
getting
better.
better with the new generation.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I think it's really important that we all collaborate and share ideas and do things. And like I said earlier, AI is here. It's a builder economy, right? I've seen so many great young people, right? They're just right in college. They already know so much. I was telling him there's someone when Bai called me yesterday. He was like, "Oh, we're building an AI startup. We want to like talk to you guys about it." So like people are doing that. Like it's changing. So meeting the right people, kind of thing, right? Someone might have already gone through that pain point, starting LLC or starting
Yes.
Inc. or going through legal process, right? I think with Nepali community, unless you know like certain people in the network, it's very hard to do that. So
Mm.
if you're starting from zero, like come join this community, and maybe you can start from like 30 or 40 yard line, and then maybe you even find the right investor, right people, just anything, right? I think we have had some success story of people just meeting as a friend, but also as a business partner, right? Through of some of our events. So now we're being more structured into our events and organization. We want to cater for like young students who are looking for jobs, all the way to entrepreneurs who are established, who might be looking for talent and ideas. And some people that just have idea and they just don't know how to start. We
Yeah.
want to connect all that community together, and then and just build a very good support system around it. And past that, maybe even bringing out the VC world into the mix so
Mm.
that exposure happens, right? So
Yeah.
I think very selflessly, I'm
Yeah.
just volunteering my time to do this with Roshan and everyone
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about your events, and I look forward to attending. I know there's one later today.
today. Mhm.
Um,
at
like
4 p.m. in the C list. Don't forget.
By the
by the
time
time you guys see this, it'll be last week's.
week.
Oh, last week, yeah.
Yeah, but but if you follow him on Instagram, then
Yeah.
LinkedIn, anything. I'm
Nepali
always,
at ATX is the page that we are doing with the ANP. You can follow us for our events. We always posting it, and we usually do happy hours and events. So, but we have few plans that
mentorship program is very
mentorships.
big.
Few things that are coming up. Please do give us a follow if you are in Austin and surrounding area as well. Like Susan mentioned, I think it's very essential that our community works as a bond, has that bonding. And like he said, if you can start from 0 and 40 yard line, I think you definitely want to be in that line where you can, have a head start and have that knowledge. And one thing that Susan said, I want to piggyback is we have that as well, like where a lot of people have already failed. And we don't have that intensity of like, hey, I tried doing this and it didn't work out. I think that needs to be promoted as well in the community where like, okay, I know you're trying to go in this and I've already tried this. So try to pivot from this.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a really big thing. And with the time from travel, from work and from investments and all that stuff, this guy's still trying to contribute for the community. And I truly appreciate that of him, like, trying to get these things done.
And one thing I want to like really highlight is someone I really appreciate the people that have come up to our event so far. And Friday night today, like Saturday, right? Someone is even important, right? Making it time to come to this event, and if you run into these people, right, they're giving time to you. Like most expensive thing someone can give you is time,
Time.
right?
Mm.
So use that wisely, right? Use that, build that credibility, be that person, trustable person, and I think sky's the limit with capability we have. I think there's really Nepali diaspora has gone very high level. Like there's people in a lot of different domains then that they could really really help you get the right guidance and mentorship. I think with the talent that we have in the community, that is a force multiplier.
Yeah.
Just like what I say with AI, right? Just force multiplier. Go out there and execute
Yeah.
and just end of the day, you got to be happy with what you're doing. That's also
Yeah.
important.
I
Don't
mean,
jump into something you don't
I don't I don't know if like I would be the target audience for ANP, but what I do want to say is, after I've met Roshan, I think I was kind of one of those people that was siloed. I mean, I grew up here, but never really got involved in anything related to Nepali community. A lot of it had to do with just not knowing like what was out there. So I think being in that environment's also helpful. But since I met Roshan, he's really pushed me to be like, hey, Dai, go here. Let's go here. Let's go meet people here. And what I've realized is my thought process of, hey, man, like our community, there isn't a lot of help out there. That stereotypical thinking.
I think
It's actually not the
there's
same
help,
anymore.
But again, it comes down to our Nepali habit of when you tell them like, oh, they'll know my secret or
Yeah.
I
like
don't know.
that has
Like,
to change and a new generation.
I
changing.
thought that way, but to be honest,
Yeah.
I realized that was just my way of thinking. Like my way of thinking was wrong. Because when I actually went to events, like when I talked to you, when I talked to, like the last event we all met at, right? I mean, every conversation I had, people were so, I don't know, anxious or so upfront about sharing, hey, we tried doing this didn't work, or hey, like I love what you guys are doing. Have you guys thought about these topics? And it seemed like, they're like, hey man, love what you guys are doing. It didn't matter whether you had like 10 followers or 50 followers. They heard like the passion behind what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it really opened my eye to, hey man, like it was me who was thinking that nobody wants to
I
help
think that
me.
might be true too, but I think there's still in an older generation, I've seen that friction there. But hopefully we'll be able to overcome
Yeah.
with like more thinking like yours with everyone.
And maybe it's the right event too, right?
Yeah.
Like before you arrived, Roshan and I were talking. I said, your environment makes a big difference on the way you think, the way you behave, and the way your life turns out, right? Like kind of like what you talked about, where you said like you met that one person who changed the course of your life. Maybe you would have been successful on
Still
your
my
own.
speed dial, right?
Yeah, like
So I
maybe
think-
you would have been successful, but what you know for sure is you are successful today, right? Whatever your definition of success is, you're happy.
It's a moving target. Like I said earlier, who moved my cheese? The cheese is always moving, right? So
Yeah.
that's another thing you have to be happy with where
Yeah.
you're going and where you are.
Yeah, so I would say like if you're watching this, we'll make sure we include Sushant's social media and ANP's social media
As
on our
well.
video. Just I understand being social is a skill set,
Yeah.
and nowadays, especially with the newer generation, that's a skill set that is missing.
I
But
think it comes with consistency too. Like just
Yeah.
like there's no magic pill for weight loss, right? You got to be consistent in the gym. Like coming to these events and going out
Yeah.
there is gonna make
Yeah.
you. I think I'm
I
still
would say it's
not
worth it.
social sometimes, but I
Yeah.
mean I go out there and just
Yeah.
you know
I mean, it's definitely worth it.
Present
And
my
if,
there.
if you're a professional, that's looking to make connections and learn from people that started at 0 and failed at 10, failed at 20, failed at 30, and then finally made it. Why not, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you any money.
Yes.
And if somebody's willing to go and impart that knowledge, I think the best thing you can do is absorb it, right? Be a sponge
Yeah.
and absorb it. So I definitely appreciate this, this conversation and your time.
Yeah, it was-
Once again, it was.
appreciate your time. Like,
Yeah, no, it was more of
was
your
trying
time.
Yeah. I mean, we're here. So
for him to fit his travel, work,
Yeah.
philanthropic thing, and to do this, I truly appreciate him. He's been a dear brother to me. We have had a lot of conversation, and for him to come down and have a conversation with us, I really hope so that you guys enjoyed some things as well, and where the cybersecurity part is heading, and he's just a wealth of knowledge, and if
it's always hard to condense everything in one episode, right? Because there's so much knowledge. I mean, we didn't even go into your employment into different sectors, not just within cybersecurity. I mean,
it was in defense.
yeah, I mean,
specialized program.
yeah, there's so many things that we could talk
and
about.
we'll do more as well. Like he talked about his product that's going to come up, so we'll have another podcast with him in terms of his
Yeah.
product, and probably that during that buildable product we can talk more about it. Before we go, Sushant, is there anything that you want to end it with? I know you started it, so it'll be pretty cool if you want to end it.
No, I think the biggest takeaway is, I think the world is changing, landscape is changing. We talk a lot about AI, right? It's changing. It's changing of how we do things. But one thing that's not going away is human touch, right? Recently, even in Mark Benioff from Salesforce, right, in their earning call, he mentioned about there's one thing they're hiring, it's sales, right? So it's be your own salesperson, right? Every one of us are our own salesperson. When we interview someone, talk to someone, present that you're just selling yourself as in
Right.
your personality, who you are, not faking it, right? So it's very important to do that, especially in this time where there's a lot of fear. There's no need for fear. Of course, some political way, there's other issue going on, but from pure talent perspective, right? Just being consistent and like I said, and then being passionate, even if it's healthcare, whatever you are into, being passionate takes you a long way than you're seeking for the hottest thing in the market or money, right? Because it doesn't end up well.
Okay.
Awesome, yeah. Be your own salesperson,
Salesperson.
and be passionate. With that, we check out DVD podcast. Thank you, everybody.